Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Um, I don't have words to show what I have learned today and how much time you must have put into this presentation. Only thing I can say that Mola can bless you and return all the favors. We have no words. We cannot even thank you enough to show our gratitude for this knowledge and this ilm that you have shared with us. Thank you so much.
Aziz Bhai, I have done nothing special. I have just followed that one sentence. We are to give this life to all.
Ameen, 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 Ameen. Inshallah. We are following on your footstep, inshallah, inshallah. So there are few questions if you don't mind, Rashida Saiba.
Yes,
all right.
ahead, please.
So the very first one was about the 8 angels holding the throne. Could you elaborate a little bit on that, please?
Yes, I can elaborate on it, but esoteric Ismailism is a bit demanding. Batini knowledge is not gained only through listening to people. Batini knowledge is gained through study, personal search. It is gained through reading appropriate literature. And last time I did mention that we have 2 websites. We have the ismaililiterature.org and we have the monoreality.org. 2 big websites which emphasize and focus on Batini knowledge, esoteric knowledge, Ta'wili knowledge, inner meaning of the Quran knowledge. And all these books are there for you all because otherwise Dr. Fatih Mohammed and I played a little part in that we have translated 70 such books into English. And we all have also written articles which are on the Monoreality website in English and the articles in Urdu on the other website. So please be sure to read and learn more yourself. But the number 8, the 8 angels, you ask yourself, how is this number 8 made up? We have mentioned again and again, throughout history, our detractors, those who didn't like us during those times of persecution, they used to dismiss us as seveners. Sabiya, seveners. They thought we only had 7 imams, but we had small cycles of 7 imams in each time. And this was continuous so that today it is 49, 7 into 7, 49. And this line is going to continue because God himself will not allow anybody to blow his light out. So if numbers 8, if you take the 7, those are 7 imams, okay? 1 meaning. I'm giving you only 1 meaning, just to satisfy your curiosity and maybe to inspire you to go to those websites. Now, who is number 8 then? The answer is in the story of the 7 sleepers and the dog. Please go and read that in the Quran. And then you will begin to understand, what Sayyidina Hassan bin Sabba in his poetry says that he is a dog at the threshold of the Imam. So the dog, the number 8, represents a murid who submits and obeys completely and perfectly the Imam. He can also enter into that exalted company.
Subhanallah, 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 Subhanallah. The next question was, looking at all your feedback, I just have to ask, Ismailis coming from outside the town or the countries visiting your center in London, any feedback from them on the feelings? And what about any other Muslims coming to the center? Any feedback from them?
Yeah, but I only gave you feedback which people gave me in writing. I told you that I have a complete file of letters of appreciation. And funnily enough, they are mostly English people, right? Yeah, of different faiths. Yeah, we certainly had Muslims, and they did come with some of them came with a negative attitude to say. For instance, when we went up to the roof garden, one Muslim woman who had a niqab as well, and she was part of a whole group of others, right, mixed group. And she was, first of all, she said, if this is a religious building, how come there are no domes? But fortunately in the roof garden, we have the domes of the Victor and Albert Museum, which look as though they are part of our building. So I told her, who says that we don't have domes? Here they are. The domes are here. And then she also had an objection to the fact that one of the streams of paradise, the Quran says, is made of wine. She said, wine is forbidden in Islam. So I said, my dear sister, I hope that the wine of paradise is not like the wine of this world, So those type of things, yes, you did come across some people, but there were, for instance, a husband and wife, a Muslim couple from Syria, and they were a little bit late. I had started, so when they joined, I just said, Ahlan wa sahlan. I greeted them in Arabic. And they were so, they melted, okay? And at the end, they left me with, they said that they had a restaurant in Aleppo and I should definitely make a point of visiting them. But since then, we've had this horrible situation in Syria, right? So, yes, I once took a doctor of psychology. His name was Dr. Rashid, same as my name, but male. And when he came on his own, right? And it was not the time to show the building, but he pleaded and pleaded. So eventually I took him up. And when we entered the Jamaat Khana, then he made a very negative comment. He said, you Ismailis do not allow us to be in your Jamaat Khana because you do not wish us to see how you prostrate to your Imam. And so I said to him, Dr. Rashid, as a Muslim, I'm sure you have very good knowledge of the Holy Quran, and therefore you should know. Therefore, I'm asking you, who prostrated to Hazrat Adam? And that was the end of the conversation there. So, no, we've had mixed groups, Christians, atheists, the lot, right? I have not taken that many tours of Ismailis. That I have to tell you straight off, because I was working at the Tariqa board, therefore I was always on the premises up to Jamaat Khana time, and I used to conduct these specialist tours of schools and colleges and such people. That was particularly my forte, right? But yes, those Ismailis whom I trained to do this, they also did extremely well because they took my training to heart and then they shared it with the members of the Jamaat. And I'm sure they had very good feedback. You can't but have good feedback, right?
In this question, a continued question was, any feedback or comments from the neighborhood around the center in London?
Yeah, at the time of the building of the Ismaili Center, there was an actress, not a very famous one, but a minor actress who actually opposed the construction, right? Because you are allowed to do that at the planning permission meetings. And then, the architect is British, right? And the architect himself lives round the corner from the Ismaili Center. And so they went to court and they persuaded her that this center would not be noisy and this and that. That was her problem, right? That there would be noise, right? And there is no noise because the Ismaili Center is so beautifully soundproofed that once you enter it, you don't even hear the ambulance or the police siren or the double-decker buses. You can see them, but you don't hear them. And similarly, because of its soundproofing, whatever we do in the social hall, nobody hears it outside. And not only that, the beveling of the glass is so important that you don't need lace curtains. So once you're in the social hall, you can look out, but whoever is looking from out inside, they don't see anything. They just see shadows. So all these things have been taken care of beautifully, okay? Because the Imam's purpose is to build bridges with people, is to unite, not divide.
I think this last comment did it, to unite, not divide. Subhanallah, subhanallah. The next question, you mentioned Hazrat Qaim. Which Imam are we talking about?
Each of our major cycles is started by a Natik. Hazrat Adam started the first, Hazrat Noor the second, Hazrat Abraham third, Hazrat Musa fourth, Hazrat Isa fifth, Hazrat Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sixth cycle. So the seventh cycle is also going to be started by such a distinguished personality. And he, in Ismaili literature, is also called a Natik sometimes, and in Wajuddin or Pir Nasir Khisra, he is referred to as Hazrat Qaimul Qiyamah. Okay? And this Hazrat Qaim, according to a hadith, and I think once again you have to read. I cannot just give you every piece of knowledge verbally. So if those of you who took my counsel seriously and did go and read the living branch of Islam, that in the living branch of Islam there is a hadith about Hazrat Qaim, which the Prophet has said, it's in English because the article is in English, that the Prophet said that even if only 1 day of the planet Earth remains, God will elongate it. He will make it longer so that this personality from among my children, it has to be from the line of the Prophet, from the line of the Imams. There will be one personality who will make this new cycle start, and in his time there will be justice and equality. There will be equity and justice in his time, just as there is oppression and inequality in the time of the Prophet. So yes, this is the seventh Natik or Hazrat Qaim will start the seventh cycle. But you have to read for that, yeah? It cannot all be transmitted verbally.
Subhanallah. So there is a follow-up question on that. So when does this cycle start, and how long the cycle would be?
According to the Quran, the Quran talks about the 6 days of creation, and our Batini interpretation is that this is not about the physical creation, because the physical creation of God has been there ever since God has been there, i.e. eternally. So the 6 days of creation, the Batin esoteric meaning is that each day represents the cycle of a great prophet or Nabi. And the Quran tells you that this day of God is equal to 1,000 years of human reckoning. So approximately 1,000 years for each of those great prophets. But they said that Hazrat Isa's cycle was a little bit short because, as you know, he was only 30 something when they crucified him. So his whatever remaining years are added on to Prophet Muhammad's time. So we are talking about 1,300 something years after the Prophet, this other cycle should start. I once again appeal to you to read ALWAAZ Dr. Fakir Muhammad's articles on the recognition of Qaim in English, which has been published by a journal called Ishraq, and it is on the website.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. So one of the comment, and back to the subject of the Ismaili centers, that I thank you for your presentation, and there is a center coming near us in Houston, inshallah, and we are looking forward to it. How does Imam decides where this next center would be?
Oh, I wish I was that close to the Imam to realize how his thinking operates, right? Hazrat Imam has actually mentioned that he would like to see an Ismaili center in Singapore and an Ismaili center in Paris as well. Okay? And so, it is absolutely because the Ismaili belief is that Imam is وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَسْمَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. So the past, the present, and the future are all in the Imam. He knows what is best. The Murid's beauty is to say Amin, even if you don't understand why the Imam is doing that. The Murid should say, that is the meaning of being a Murid. A Murid doesn't question the Imam's intellect, because the Murid knows that his or her intellect is only a partial intellect, whereas the Imam's intellect is Akle Kul, the perfect intellect. All we can do is we can ask Mawla to increase our knowledge so that whatever he does, we can understand it better. We should carry out a survey of Jamaat who go to the Jamaat Khana in these centers and find out how many of them are aware of what the Imam's aspirations are about these centers. And I can tell you for sure that many of them will not know, because they have not read Imam's speeches, right?
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. So the last question I see online regarding the center. So there are some major center, as you mentioned, 7 now. What about those minor centers? I believe this is somebody from Plano. Like we have Ismaili center, but it's not, in quotation, high profile Jamaat Khana, or one in Houston already called high profile Jamaat Khana. Any information on those?
Well, like I said, that the Imam cannot build such high-profile centers, of which one part is Jamaat Khana, the other parts are, social hall, meeting rooms, all sorts of things, right? The Portuguese one in Lisbon, for instance, the social hall opens out onto the outdoors, and there is an amphitheater, a theater where you can perform plays and whatever, yeah? So Imam has distinctive things for each of the centers, depending on where that center is situated. The Ismaili center is situated on a very small piece of land, right? So it cannot have other things, like the center in Portugal has, for instance. So the physical environment also constrains. The Imam wants to build for unity, not disunity, right? And that's why the Ismaili center on the outside is such a modern plain building. But it has distinctive features like the beveling and the wooden slats. These other Jamaat Khanas, more and more, with their purpose built or they are refurbished, they also have, now a set of guidelines where they follow certain decor, certain colors, certain design. They also have social halls. They are also inviting to the society in which they live and operate. So many things are happening now according to the benchmark set by this standard, by these centers, okay? So yes, they have had a tremendous influence. Like I said, even on the stage decoration of our Padrani. One time it used to be red and green, red and green. But now they pick up the colors of the center in their country or the design in their country. Yeah.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. That was the last question I had on this list. Kamle Sahib, do you have any other question that I don't see?
No, sir, I don't see any questions in the chat.
All right, thank you very much. And to let everyone know, Rashida Sahiba will be back again with us tomorrow morning. But tomorrow morning is the 9 o'clock Dallas time, Sunday morning. Thank you very much.
My time will be 2 p.m. Is that correct, Aziz? Not like today.
No, that is correct. 2 o'clock London time tomorrow.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Once again, I apologize for keeping you all waiting, huh?
No need, no need. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Yali Madad to everybody. Yali Madad Rashid Sahiba. Thank you.
Molali Madad to all of you. Thank you for your kind listening.
Ameen, Ameen. Yali Madad, Yali Madad.